Okay, good morning everyone out there in Periscope land. Thank you for joining us here on Periscope this morning for a live broadcast from Crystal Cove State Park. My name is Francesca. I am an interpreter working here at the Orange Coast District at Crystal Cove State Park. I work for California State Parks, and right now we are bringing you live footage of our lifeguards in action out here in the Pacific Ocean during their training exercises. Hello, Colin Allensworth. Thank you for joining us this morning. And thank you for everyone who's joining us for the replay, watching the broadcast maybe a bit later. And today we wanted to bring you this live action from the beach. We have a lifeguard on hand for you to answer any questions you might have. So please feel free to ask any questions through the comments, and we will do our best to try and answer your questions. Yeah, some good live action, and there's some surf out here this morning, so if it picks up, we might see some pretty fun demos with the paddle boards right in front of us. Take us on a little 360 tour before we officially get started. We are at Reef Point. Awesome. And this morning we wanted to talk to you guys a bit about the lifeguard training program that all of our beach lifeguards go through to lifeguard here within a California state park or a California state beach. And joined with me this morning, we have a lifeguard legend that has been with this program for many, many years. So would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Mike Silvestri. This is my 40th year with lifeguard training program.
Awesome. And what do we have going on out here today? What are we watching?
Well, today is day 4 of an 8-day lifeguard training program, and we're usually up at Huntington State Beach. We move it down to Crystal Cove because we can focus on some special training that we can't get done up at Huntington. So today they'll be doing the rescue personal watercraft. They'll be doing search and rescue. Out here in front, we're doing the paddleboard rescue, and then a little bit later we'll be having some rock rescue rotations. And they'll be doing different evolutions of training and building some skills up that they can take back to their districts.
Very cool. And so I believe all the lifeguards are from all over the state. They come down here to Orange County, is that correct?
Yeah, we're unique in that we do one central training program at Huntington every year. So we'll bring guards from Imperial Beach, Coronado, all the way up to Mendocino, Sonoma Coast. And we like to do one central training so they all get the same information, the same training base. And we're unique because we're so spread out throughout the entire state that they need to have that core set of training.
Very cool. And it's pretty rigorous training, is that right? Can you comment maybe on the success rate, the pass rate, or how many people are in each program?
Well, we started with 60 with this group on day 1. We're still at 59. It is extremely physical. They do physical training every morning. We call them vitamins because it's good for them, whether they know it or not. And it's physical on a day like today. They're doing the rock rescue and the paddleboard. So it is extremely physical, extremely mental too. They go through an incredible first aid program and CPR program, developing those skills because they have to have it day 1. An example of that, they had a scuba diver drowning here at Crystal Cove, and one of our rookies from the last June training, his very first day on the job, got involved with that CPR. So they can be pretty remote too within state parks. It's not like some of the other agencies where they'll tower after tower after tower. Some of these are working outpost towers. So
absolutely, a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, a lot of high-level training for them within 8 days.
So 8 days.
Yeah, 8 days. Success rate fluctuates. We're doing really good. We've started with about 60 of the first 2 trainings, and we only lost 4 out of each of those sessions.
Oh, nice.
So a really high success rate. We used to have a little bit higher failure rate, and they've introduced what we call pre-training seminars. So at each individual district, they'll have 3 or 4 sessions with, and it's voluntary, but the kids that are getting ready to go through lifeguard training, they'll introduce them on how we do our CPR training, how we do our first aid training. They'll take them out and do physical training with them and show them how to get ready.
Very cool.
And that's, I think, what really has helped our success rate go up into the 90% plus range.
That is awesome. So thank you everyone for just joining us now. We are at Crystal Cove State Park with the state lifeguards today, and we are watching the training program. Good morning, Jen. Thank you for joining us. Pretty gray day out here, but nice and quiet, so pretty beautiful. It's also the first day of junior lifeguards, so we might see a couple hundred kids coming down onto the beach behind us in a few moments here. But today we're highlighting the lifeguard training that's happening right out here in the water. We have a group of about 20 lifeguard trainees on paddle boards, and the rescue board is the equipment that lifeguards will use to help make rescues in the surf or just beyond the surf. And can you comment on what they're doing out here in the water right now?
Well, right now Shane Scoggins, one of our lifeguard training instructors from Ventura, is putting them through some mini evolutions. Right now he's just introducing them to the paddleboard, getting them comfortable on how to balance on the board. They'll do some practice paddling, and then they'll start practicing getting in and out through the surf line by themselves. Eventually they'll go and pick up a victim and bring them in through the surf line. So he's showing right now how to get somebody that's in the water onto the board.
I see. Very cool.
That can't get on by themselves. And we're really fortunate with this particular training skill. Shane Scoggins is one of the premier paddlers in the lifeguarding world.
Wow.
He's got his expertise that not many people have. So these kids are really fortunate to have him as an instructor right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, we mentioned that the trainees are coming from all over the state to participate in this state park lifeguard training before they're able to work in the towers this summer. But can you comment again on the instructors? Who do we have out here instructing everyone today? Yeah,
so we have Shane is from Ventura. We have, let's see, Greg Shaner's from Ventura. We have Dan Radicanu, who just retired, but he's an RA now, and he's come back, and he's working both Angeles District and Ventura. We have people from Huntington, San Diego Coast, North and South Sector are here. Last session we had somebody down from Santa Cruz.
Wow.
So we get a pretty, that's what's also very, very unique to this program is the instructors, who many have moved around within the state system over the course of their career. So we've had guards that Ed Vidroska's up from San Diego, but he spent a dozen years working the Sonoma Coast.
Wow, yeah.
And he also worked San Clemente. I spent my whole career at San Diego Coast, but we have guards that have been all over the place. We actually have a volunteer, Terry Murphy, who retired recently. He worked his career at Huntington and San Clemente. He was one of our premier boat operators, and he volunteers to come in and teach them the scuba rescue and the search and rescue.
Very cool. So here at Crystal Cove, we mentioned earlier, we came down here with the group for kind of a change in scenery compared to Huntington State Beach, which is a bigger sandy shoreline. Of course, here at Crystal Cove, we are known for our 3.2 miles of rocky shoreline, which is beautiful to visit, fun to explore the tide pools, but definitely can pose some threats for our beach visitors in the summertime. We had someone comment that they almost died in a rip tide in Miami Beach, so Miami, Florida definitely also has rip currents. Rip currents sometimes form near our rocky structures. So do you want to maybe comment on some of the hazards that are here at this beach that lifeguards are training for?
Yeah, this is unique. It's definitely different from Huntington. Huntington has got catches the big south swells, really powerful, strong longshore currents, and really big, giant rip currents. So that's a little bit down here. It's unique in that they get this really pounding shore break when they get surfed, which is a very short impact zone, but very powerful. So they need to learn how to get in and out, not only on just a rescue with a buoy and fins, but also with the paddle boards, and how to deal with it on a line search. It presents some different problems. And then the rocks here are very unique, and that's why we spent a whole rotation doing rock rescues. They'll do dry land exercises, and right now they're out at Split Rock, and they're actually getting used to how to get in and out safely through different areas on the rocks.
Very cool.
We actually have a couple of the LA County lifeguards down going through the training because they're going to start their own rock rescue program.
Very cool. We had a comment, someone from Puerto Rico. Thanks for joining us this morning. We are pretty proud to say that our training program is now hosting people from other countries to come train here.
Yeah, we've had people from Spain, France, Argentina, Chile, Puerto Rico,
wow.
New Zealand, Australia. This time we have Costa Rican and Chilean here that are going to be going through the 8-day program. You know, they don't have the same setup we have back there. They have very few resources, but they'll take the training they get here and try and enhance the training programs they have back in their countries.
Awesome. He says he's at the San Juan Marriott. So yeah. That's very cool that you're down there in Puerto Rico. Some of our lifeguards might be, you know, at high visitation areas. And that is a good reminder when you come to the beach. We always say make sure you find an open lifeguard tower. Here at Crystal Cove, we have 10 of these seasonal towers, or Dunleavy towers, that are set up strategically placed down the beach. So when you and your family come down to the beach, make sure you look for one of these towers and then make sure it's open. So right now, this guard is not on duty yet. It's still a bit early here in California. I believe they'll open up around 9 a.m. So if you are going to go in the water, make sure you are swimming within your ability. Know before you go is one of our mottos here. So if you don't know what's going on out in the ocean, feel free to ask a lifeguard. And if you're in doubt, just don't go out. View is just fine from the shoreline here. And what we're waiting for is these lifeguard trainees out here on their paddleboard. They're working on some rescue training exercises.
A seal on the inside here.
Got a little, let's see, harbor seal about to go under the whitewater here. Let's see if I can zoom in. So besides just humans, we have a lot of wildlife out here in the water. Crystal Cove is home to one of California's state marine conservation area. This marine protected area expands about 3 miles offshore and protects all of the wildlife out here. We also have our rescue watercraft just offshore to the south of us, and they're working on learning how to become familiar with the jet ski that is outfitted to make rescues. It has a sled on the back of it. And what other activities are going on down the beach? What are these other groups working on?
So we have, they do like a rescue personal watercraft orientation on the land, showing them all how the skis work, the danger areas, how to approach the boat, how to get on the ski, and then they'll go out and actually get in the water and practice getting on the back of the sled, making a quick rescue, and just get comfortable working around. The boats in the water are really dangerous for lifeguards, so we really stress safety, and it gets them used to being at water level and dealing with the craft and following orders from the boat operators. We also do sand entrapment, which has become a really big thing over the past several years, and so they're practicing where simulation of a child that's been digging in the sand caves in, and now they have to be able to get them out. That's at the far end. And then they're doing they've been doing search and rescue. So they just finished, all these kids getting out now have been practicing diving out in about 10 to 15 feet of water, going to the bottom, getting used to being on the bottom. Some of them never skin dove at all, and it's getting used to that, just getting used and comfortable underwater like that. Now after that, they'll do a line search and practice for a body recovery.
Very cool. And how many lifeguards do we have out here today?
We have 50, well, counting the LA County Guards, we have 61 people going through rotations, so about 20 in each rotation. Wow. And they'll finish up, we're down here for about 5 hours, and then we'll head back up to Huntington, and they have, we get into our, what we call rotation groups, and they'll practice CPR, first aid, and rescues for about 3 hours in the afternoon. Today's one of the really physical days. Looks like it. A lot of in and out of the water, and with some surf can be a challenge. In the water. So we're just waiting to see if this group will do some in and outs through the surf in a little while, so that might be entertaining. And then we have another group to the north of us practicing rock rescues. We might sign off briefly and sign back in when they are
climbing through the rocks to show you what those rescue skills look like. But in the meantime, we are here to answer any questions you have. So we want to welcome any questions you have for California State Lifeguards. Question about sharks. So we are standing at the edge of the Pacific Ocean, which is home to over 300 species of sharks. Here at Crystal Cove, we probably have over 10 different species of sharks. So they're constantly out here. Of course, the ones of concern are usually the larger sharks that everyone's curious about. And we know they're here. It's not too much of a concern. Do you want to comment on our shark?
It's definitely changed the dynamics of the lifeguard operations over the last several years. And they're still trying to figure out exactly why we're seeing more great whites and interacting with them. It could be that those numbers have always been here and we're just more aware of it. But it could be their populations have increased also. And it's impacted us. I started lifeguarding in 1971, and honestly, I can never remember having to close down a beach because of a shark. And within the last 5 years, beach closures have become regular. San Onofre, San Clemente, Huntington. Just last year, we had to cancel one of the Crystal Cove rotations because of a great white shark sighting. So it's one more thing that the lifeguards are having to deal with that traditionally we really didn't have to worry about. And it's probably a combination of there's just a lot more people going to the beach and there's more eyes on the water, so it could be just we're seeing them more.
Absolutely. We have someone from Massachusetts saying that they're seeing an increase or that way as well. So
I know locally, I don't know, I haven't seen a study on it, but you know, they opened up the Bolsa Chica channel for the restoration up there, and the stingray population has exploded, and that's apparently one of the favorite foods of juvenile great white sharks. So it could be that. I know up in Seal Beach they've got resident juveniles. San Onofre's got resident juveniles, and those are things that we just didn't see in the past.
Interesting. Yeah.
So right now these guys are finally getting used to planing the board properly, getting their balance down. Probably have them paddle out, paddle back to the instructor and straight, and then I'll have them start going in.
I see.
Solo to get used to coming in through, because they have to time it, especially with the shore break. If we have any sets, they don't want to be paddling in through the set. They've got a little seal over here again.
Oh yeah. Looks like he's curious about what our instructors are doing right out here. So there's a seal head, and there's two of our lifeguards straight ahead. And you did mention stingrays, so whenever we talk about sharks, I always mention stingrays because I'm much more afraid of stingrays when I visit the beach than sharks. So what can you comment on our stingrays?
Much more likely to get hit by a stingray. We've had a lot early at lifeguard training. Again, historically, I can't remember any of our trainees ever being hit by a stingray. And last session we had at least a dozen got hit. They were able to complete the program, but they weren't necessarily happy about it.
Yeah.
Real painful. I know on a busy weekend day up at Bolsa Chica now, they're doing upwards of 100 stingray treatments a day. So it's, again, I don't think anybody's got a total explanation for everything, but it makes sense once they open up the Bolsa Chica channel that's a breeding ground for a lot of different fish species. But it's quite a headache for the lifeguards when we get that many people coming up for treatment. You got to take somebody out of the operation, treat them. We have to treat them in a bucket of hot water, and then it just ties up a lot of personnel.
Absolutely. And the treatment for a stingray is definitely seek medical attention. If you're out in the water and you feel a sting or a piercing puncture wound on your foot, then you seek medical attention. Is that right?
Yeah, they usually know right away because it's got toxins on the barb that hits you, and it causes tremendous pain. So they come to us first. What we'll do is put them in a bucket of hot water, 110 degrees, and that helps with the pain. It deactivates the toxins somewhat. And we'll treat them enough just to get the pain down to where it's tolerable, and then try and recommend that they go see a doctor, because we don't know if it's hit an artery, a nerve. It's possibly caused some bad internal damage. Sometimes the barb actually breaks off, and we can't diagnose that. So we do recommend that everybody goes and sees a doctor. The other thing about any injury out of the ocean is a super high rate of infection. So at the very least, we tell them to clean it out really good and make sure they keep an eye on the infection aspect. But they'll stay unhappy, in pain for upwards of 2 to 3 hours, and hot water is about the only thing that'll knock down that pain. And it's really visual when you see them take their foot out of the bucket. They think they're ready to go home, and within 30 seconds they're putting their foot back in.
Instantly comes back. And yeah, someone said it depends, so it depends on your pain tolerance, where it hits you, if it hits the artery, if you're working out, if your blood is pumping when it happens. So a lot of factors go into it. You're correct there. And to avoid stingrays, we should mention, of course, it's to do the stingray shuffle. Would you like to demonstrate the stingray shuffle for us?
Yeah, you just try and shuffle your feet on the inside so that if you hit them, it gives them a chance to swim away. What happens is when you step on their body, it allows their tail to come up and expose the barb and hit your foot. So it's just a defensive reaction on their part. And if you can just, like I say, shuffle your feet and kind of scare them away.
Perfect.
It's tough for the lifeguard because on rescues you can't shuffle your feet. And you just have to hope that you don't step on one and get hit. So far with this group, we've been lucky. Nobody's been hit. Like I say, last session we had at least a dozen.
Oh, yeah. I've been hit, and it's the worst pain I can say I've ever felt in my life. So don't wish that upon anyone.
Somehow I've never been hit.
Wow.
I've been on the bottom a lot, but
wow.
I've had them swim into my face and hit them, and stepped on them, but never had the barb actually hit me. It's like junior guards is about to start.
Yeah, we've got some other of our lifeguards heading down. We're going to wrap things up here probably. We might pop on for a second little broadcast when there's more action right in front of us. So wanted to bring you some of the paddling through the surf here. But Crystal Cove is just one of our state parks and state beaches that has a junior lifeguard program. So if you're a kid out there watching this broadcast, or if you have children that love the beach and love the ocean, we highly recommend looking up our junior lifeguard programs. It's a 4-week summer camp that teaches kids ages 9 through 17 all about what it takes to be a lifeguard and the physical fitness elements. We train them out here on the beach each day. Yay! So it looks like we might get a little action. And what are they practicing right now on their paddle boards?
So what Shane's trying to get them to do is realize that you've got to time not only your entry into the water, but also exiting, especially in a beach like Crystal Cove where it's a really intense shore break. Looks like we got a little bit of surf. If we get a set, if they're not careful, they'll get pitched over the falls, and then we worry about broken boards and broken bones. So a lot of it's just about recognizing there's a time to back off and just wait until the set passes and then to come in.
So we'll see who here timed it. Looks like we got the first 2 through. Oh, first one.
Nice little wave there. They teach them always to be facing directly into the wave. They don't want to get up the board turned sideways.
Here comes another.
A little set. And for a lot of these people, they've never been on a paddleboard, so it is really hard to do. Your balance is off. You either get too far back on the board or too far forward, and it's something really. It's an introduction today, and what we do is we encourage our all of our guards to spend a lot of time working with the paddle boards until they're totally proficient at it, because they're great for long distance rescues, unconscious, or not necessarily even unconscious, but patient victims out in the water, that it's just a lot more efficient to get them onto the board and to paddle them in.
And how big are these boards that we're talking about here?
These ones that are 11 foot.
11 foot.
And they're padded on the top, and they have handles, and they have a soft fin, so not like a surfboard where it's fiberglass fin and causes a lot more injuries.
So if you're ever out in the water and you do need help, if you see a lifeguard approach you, just make sure you listen to their instruction. Try not to panic and stay calm. These rescue boards have handles on them, and they'll instruct you through what to do to hop on board with them. Very cool. Oh, very cool. Hi.
You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Give a moment.
English or Spanish?
You can do Spanish if you'd like. Anyone from Costa Rica? We had someone from San Juan. Where was that country earlier? I'm blanking now, but go ahead. Puerto Rico, yes.
Bueno, buenos días. Mi nombre es Ariel La Fuente. Vengo de Costa Rica. Desde Costa Rica hasta California por primera vez en Estados Unidos para recibir el curso de California State Parks y poder seguir mejorando mis habilidades como guardavidas.
Awesome. And you want to say something in English? Are you enjoying California?
Yeah, what I say is that this is my first time in the United States, like the entire, and I'm really excited to travel all the way from Costa Rica to here to make this training course with the California State Parks, so I can improve my abilities as a lifeguard, and I can take a lot of more information and take back with my people.
Thank you. So as you can see, we have lifeguards coming from all over the world to join us here for lifeguard training. It's a pretty premier program that our lifeguards work really hard to put on to train all of our up-and-coming lifeguards. So we're going to get ready to sign off here. I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning. Give them some space as they practice their rescue demo. And we'll probably sign back on maybe in about a half hour to watch some more rock rescues. So please join in if you can.
Let's see what time they were supposed to go to. Now they're getting ready to do the line search, so they're doing a dry land exercise, and they use their feet to feel out when you're in the impact zone. It's only good for up to about chest deep, but it can really quickly clear an area out and make sure that we're not missing somebody.
Very cool. We'll see if this group might go right back through the surf in a few moments after this instruction, and then we'll sign off. It's kind of fun to watch them go through the surf, learning how to time it correctly.
Yeah, now what they'll do is try and do a victim rescue.
Oh, cool. They're pairing off, is that right?
Yes, sir. This is our Chilean.
Oh, very cool. Hi, introduce yourself to the world.
Okay, do you want to speak in English or Spanish?
Either one.
Either one.
Okay.
Whatever you're more comfortable.
Nice and loud.
I'm Joel from Chile. I'm so happy to be here. I'm really appreciate your invitation to be here. So we're training and learning a lot of your topics here. So I really appreciate the invitation, and I hope we could represent our Chilean name in a good way.
Absolutely, very cool. Is Chile similar to California coastline, or how would you?
Yeah, I think some cities on Chile, some beaches, they are alike than here, but the water is very different than here. It's colder.
Much colder. Interesting. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I want to let you get back to your activities here. We're going to keep a watch out for you. Thank you very much.
Having fun?
So cool.
Yeah, it's really special for the Californian kids when we get these international representatives to come in, because like I say, most of them, they just don't have the resources, and for our kids to get to see the commitment that these guys are making to get all the way here, and a lot of them are in certain situations like Costa Rica probably not used to cold water at all, and they're having to deal with that. I know we've had a lot of Mexican guards come up from mainland Mexico, and that's the first thing they really freak out is about the cold water. We had a couple guys, we had 4 guys from Cabo San Lucas, drove in a little Jeep, 1,000-mile, had to stay a week in Tijuana to get permission to get into the country.
Wow.
Incredible command, and no financial backing quite often. They're doing it on their own.
Right. And a lot of countries do have volunteer lifeguards, so we're lucky here in California to have agencies like state parks and city and county agencies that are paying for our lifeguard services. So we do value the work that these women and men do every day for us out here. There they go. So right now they partnered off. Their victim is out in the water, and the lifeguards and the yellow rash guards on the boards are heading out to practice rescuing their mock victims. So again, this is all a training exercise. And it looks like they all made it through the surf line. Nice work, everyone. Yeah, pretty choppy. They're working on timing right now, so they all timed that perfectly and made it out in between the waves. Awesome, so we're gonna get ready to wrap things up. We can take any last minute questions you have about California, about lifeguarding. I wanna thank you all for joining us here on Periscope this morning. Our lifeguards appreciate your support, and again, we want to remind you all, when you come to the beach this summer, make sure you never swim alone and swim near a lifeguard. Awesome. Okay, so we'll wrap it up. I'll turn it around. We'll give them a quick selfie to say bye, and then we'll potentially join you in about 15 minutes for another rotation, so stay tuned for more notifications. These are lifeguards primarily from California, but as you heard, we have a few international candidates here in the training group, so we accept candidates from alternate countries as well. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, my name is Francesca. I'm an interpreter here at Crystal Cove State Park, and we appreciate you signing on this morning. We appreciate the support for our lifeguards. Thanks so much. Have a great day.